Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Tia. Tia had a gift. Wherever she went, she made friends. She could strike up a conversation with a stranger in a grocery store, connect with an elderly woman waiting at a bus stop, or sit beside someone for 5 minutes and make them feel like they'd known her for years. Humans fascinated her. Their dreams, their fears, their experiences. For Tia, every person was like a book waiting to be read. And somehow, people felt safe around her. Within minutes, they would begin sharing things they had never told anyone else. Creating connections wasn't something Tia learned. It was simply who she was. Then one day, Tia met Ferro. Ferro was funny, gentle, and carried an innocence that made people instantly trust him. He wasn't the kind of person who made hundreds of friends. Instead, he made a few deep connections. The people in his life adored him, and Tia was drawn to that. While Tia collected stories, Ferro collected loyalty. They were different, but they fit together beautifully. The more time they spent together, the more they fell in love. Eventually, they got married. For a while, life felt perfect. Then slowly, little things began to change. Ferro loved many things about Tia. Her kindness, her ability to make friends wherever she went. But there was also something that worried him. Tia saw the good in everyone. She trusted easily. Ferro, on the other hand, had seen a different side of the world. He knew how manipulative people could be, how easily trust could be broken. And because he loved Tia, he wanted to protect her from that cruelty. Whenever she told him about a new friendship, Ferro would often say, "Be careful." And whenever that friendship involved a man, his concern became stronger. Don't trust men so easily. Most men aren't talking to you for friendship. At first, Tia thought he was simply being protective. And maybe he was. But protection has a strange way of turning into control when it is driven by fear. Over time, the questions became sharper. "You seem to talk to him a lot. Don't the women in your office speak to you? What exactly do you talk about all day?" And sometimes, when his fear got the better of him, he would ask the question that hurt Tia the most. "Are you cheating on me?" Tia knew Ferro loved her. In his own way, he was trying to protect her. But what Ferro didn't realize was that he wasn't protecting Tia from the world anymore. He was protecting her from becoming herself. And little by little, Tia began shrinking to fit inside the safety he had created for her. Tia hated seeing Ferro sad, so she started making adjustments. Small ones at first. She stopped chatting with male colleagues during lunch. She avoided unnecessary conversations. She kept interactions short and professional. It seemed harmless, a small compromise for someone she loved. But compromises have a strange way of growing. Months turned into years, and slowly Tia stopped doing what came naturally to her. Whenever she met a man, a thought immediately appeared in her mind. What would Ferro think? Whenever she felt a connection forming, she pulled away. Whenever she wanted to be herself, she hesitated. The fear of being judged became stronger than her curiosity. And eventually, something inside her began to change. The woman who once connected effortlessly with everyone became quiet, careful, restricted. She still smiled, still worked, still fulfilled her responsibilities. But a part of her had gone silent. Years passed. One day, a new employee joined her office. He introduced himself warmly. Normally, Tia would have spent the next hour learning everything about him. Instead, she smiled politely and returned to her desk. The interaction lasted less than 30 seconds, but it bothered her all day. Because for the first time, she realized she hadn't acted like herself. That evening, while returning from work, Tia sat on a bench in a small park. Children were playing nearby. Friends were laughing over tea. Strangers were introducing themselves. And suddenly, Tia felt an overwhelming sense of loss. Not for her marriage, not for her past, for herself. She missed the girl who could walk into a room full of strangers and walk out with friends. She missed the excitement of discovering people. She missed the version of herself that felt alive. That night, she came home unusually quiet. Ferro noticed immediately. "Everything okay?" Tia nodded. But Ferro knew her too well. After dinner, he sat beside her. "What happened?" For a long time, Tia didn't answer. Then she asked a strange question. "Do you remember why you fell in love with me?" Ferro smiled. "Of course, because you could talk to anyone." Tia looked at him. Ferro continued. "You made people feel important. You could walk into a room full of strangers and somehow leave with friends. I always admired that." Tia felt something tighten in her chest, because she couldn't remember the last time anyone had described her that way. Ferro kept smiling as he remembered. "You were fearless." Then he stopped, because suddenly he realized something. The woman he was describing no longer existed, at least not in front of him. Ferro had spent years trying to protect Tia from being hurt, and somewhere along the way, he had protected her from becoming herself. Tia wasn't the only one who saw it. Now Ferro saw it too. Weeks passed, then months. Neither of them changed overnight. There were arguments, misunderstandings, old habits, moments when Ferro's fears returned, moments when Tia wanted to retreat again. But something was different. Now they could see the problem. And once you see something clearly, it's difficult to pretend it isn't there. One afternoon, Ferro came home and found Tia talking to a man outside their building. The old Ferro would have immediately started asking questions. Instead, he watched. The man was elderly, recently widowed, and within minutes, Tia had somehow made him smile. The way she always did, the way she used to. Ferro stood there quietly, and for the first time, he understood something. The thing he had spent years trying to control was the very thing that made Tia who she was. That evening, as they sat together, Ferro said softly, "I think I owe you an apology." Tia looked up. "For what?" Ferro took a deep breath. Then he said, "I spent years protecting you from the world, but now I realize I should have been protecting the parts of you that made you special." Tia didn't reply. She simply held his hand. Because some apologies don't fix the past, but they make a future possible. Years later, people would still ask Tia how she managed to make friends everywhere she went. And she would smile, because the answer wasn't that she had found herself. The answer was that she had stopped hiding herself. And sometimes that's all it takes. Not becoming someone new, just having the courage to be who you were all along. If you like this story, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and share your views in the comments.